all grow together.
Shake it on out. Look at that. This is actually a paper wrap to keep things more eco-friendly. And they didn't stop there.
Started using the more cheaper and efficient recycled aluminum to make things more eco-friendly, being a big reason we have an increase to our weight, but for some reason no decrease to our price. The problem that I have with the screen is the fact that it was built as a mobile device, yet with no glare technology inside of it or just a simple film that goes over the LCD panel, we're not going to be able to look at our screen while we're on the go! This is a device that was built for mobility, but you're also going to be deprived of the ability to connect to a mobile network. This is one of my biggest complaints when it comes to the Surface Pro 8. In 2022, we'll see the business lineup roll out with LTE Advanced, which is Microsoft's way of saying we're going to have 4G, but we're going to name it LTE Advanced because we don't want to let our business consumers know that we're not going to put 5G in it. So many different things that Microsoft has released on this, and other than the haptic feedback, via tactile signals going to the Slim Pin 2.0 and the dual far field studio mics, there really isn't anything new or innovative. And even the newest and most innovative technologies that are out there, Microsoft has failed to adopt. Instead of the long anticipated Thunderbolt 3, which gave us a unidirectional data rate of 40 gigabytes per second, we got Thunderbolt Port 4, which allows us to bi-directionally transfer data, meaning you could upstream and downstream data at 40 gigabytes per second. Giving us the ability to use our external SSD on par with the speeds of our internal SSD for the very first time. The potential to actually run gaming grade performances with a 2-in-1 device, which is something that we have never seen before. The problem that I have with that is Intel states specifically on their website the minimum data requirements for PCI devices is 32 gigabytes per second. And what is Peripheral Component Interconnect Express? So this is simply the data transfer rate within your computer. It's pretty simple to understand, honestly. If you think about your internet connection, for example, how many gigabytes per second do you get? If you get 30, that would be the exact same speed that they're referring to, only it's on an internet connection via a cable or wirelessly. And throughout the inside of your computer, there's different peripherals like your solid state drive, your RAM, maybe a card in there that will help you connect to Wi-Fi, etc. And so that's what they mean when they're referring to the PCIe data requirements. Okay, so here we have Intel's website stating that the maximum performance for each one of these ports, which are going to be displayed, need to meet these minimum PC data requirements. As you can see, the 32 gigabytes per second is listed, the 15 watts to show you the power outage is listed.
Now supports up to 23 watt TDP, a first for the Pro line.
So with a 23 watt TDP, what that means to you is, if you have a Surface Pro 8, that your thermal design power is only intended to reach 23 watts. Anything beyond that, the operating system is going to shut it down, or it's going to start throttling different programs that are not as high in priority to ensure that you can run your stuff right in the foreground, and Microsoft can still run its programs in the background. But no matter what happens, it only allows 8 extra watts if you're using one Thunderbolt Port 4 at the maximum potential. So that's 15 watts, and then the remainder being 8 watts to reach that 23 watt cap. So you can use just over a half a watt extra if you use half of the other Thunderbolt Port 4. So you got 15 watts for one port, and you got another one, it's 7.5 watts if you want to run, let's say, a 4K monitor at 30 hertz, right? And so that will put you at 22.5 watts, right? Just a half a watt under, the maximum TDP. But now you got to take into consideration, you need your operating system to run, and that's going to take watts. Therefore, there's absolutely zero potential to use the maximum performance of both Thunderbolt ports at the same time. The minimum data requirement for the maximum performance is 15 watts per port. So we're not even going to be able to utilize the maximum of one port. It's just truly sad to see Microsoft release something that they really can't even use the full capabilities of, and that's the biggest innovation other than the dual far field studio mics. So why am I returning the most expensive 2-in-1 device that's on the market today? It's built for mobility. It has mobile RAM, mobile central processing unit. It's a mobile weight at 891 grams. You can literally just flip your keyboard up, take it with you wherever you go. You turn it on, and 1 second later, you're utilizing your device. Everything about this thing was designed for mobility, yet it doesn't have the same technology that I can expect in the very cheapest phone that's out there, a SIM module. Why would I not be able to have a mobile connection? Now, everything that Microsoft has done to make this a good device for mobility is all hindered because I am now put on a leash when it comes to my data connection. How useful is the tablet that you have that can't connect to the internet, right? And I mean, look, we're talking about mobility here. So if I walk outside my house and I get yanked on my neck, I feel like the immobile dog that's just walking, pacing back and forth. Like, yeah, you might be mobile in prison, but you only get to walk around a little bit before you hit them bars. And that's how I feel. As soon as I walk far away from my router, I ain't got enough bars. Hold on. I'll be with y'all in a second. Hold on. Let me put my tablet up real quick. What? This ain't no mobile device. $2,600 is the max you can spend. The minimum is $1,100. You can't put the same technology that's in a throwaway phone. All right, so number 2 is customer service. When I was younger, I was watching this documentary, right? And so this documentary that I was watching is probably the only way I can paint this image that I have whenever I think about Microsoft, right? So there was a company in particular, and it was multiple companies, but there was one that they were talking about in particular. And this company were paying out slave wages to their employees. The wages were so low, and the employees hated their life so much coming to work that this company had to literally put up suicide nets to keep their employees from jumping off in the buildings and killing themselves. Crazy, right? And so maybe it was, false news. I don't know, but it doesn't feel like it when I call Microsoft. I get on the phone with somebody that sounds like they just hate their life. Hey, how you doing? Welcome to Microsoft. How may I help you? And you can't understand them. They're in another country, a foreign country. I can't understand their dialects. They don't ever understand what I'm saying. And they always do the exact same thing. They repeat everything that I say to them and say, this is your problem, but they never get it right. So I'm just really baffled. It's like every single time I call to talk to somebody up there, I get this, at first I have this expectation like, okay, this is the company that built the hardware and the software for every single Windows device out there, right? So they built the hardware for their own device and the software for all these other devices. So they got a lot of money to invest into good customer service, into their product, right? They should have the best of the best. That's why you pay that $1,100 to $2,600 with the Service Pro 8. But no, I don't even get somebody that is in my area, like T-Mobile, for example, right? A smaller company. They make it to where when you call in, you're actually going to get a customer service representative that is the closest in proximity to you if they're available, right? And even with them, they actually shut down for 4 hours out of the 24 hours they were open during the pandemic. I get it, right? There's issues like that. But going outside of America to hire tech support for Americans doesn't really make sense to me, honestly. Like, make me wait. I'll wait. I'll put my phone down and wait 5 hours before I talk to somebody that I just can't understand. About Wi-Fi 6 versus the Wi-Fi 5 and a debatable upgrade. 3.2 gigabytes per second you get with the Wi-Fi 5. With the new Wi-Fi 6 on the Surface Pro 8, you're going to get 9.6 gigabytes. Something that you'll never utilize unless you're trying to download something from a USB that's literally connected to your router. I really just can't stand the fact that everything on the Surface Pro 8 is not the bleeding edge of technology like Wi-Fi 6E that's going to be out and has 6 gigahertz band that has 1,600 channels inside of it, giving you network latencies 2 to 6 milliseconds. What? That's an amazing amount of speed right there, which is something that we won't be able to utilize with the Surface Pro 8 and is absolutely ridiculous when you take into consideration that Microsoft has invested less by buying recycled aluminum versus the older and more diverse magnesium that is lighter weight, and so we actually get a heftier device with a heftier price tag and still lack all of the new cutting edge technology on the very most expensive 2-in-1 device ever made. So I had a guy tell me on my comments in one of my other videos about the Surface Pro 8 that he didn't want the whole cinematic thing, he didn't want all of the extras, right? He just wanted the specific facts, right? So I'm putting the website link right there because that's where the facts go, and they're organized and they're easy to find and easy to access, as well as my sources, right? And so in response to that type of request, look, this is simplified by Dylan, not specs by Dylan. And if there's anything I can do to clarify or simplify the information that you have received from me, you have constructive criticism, or you just want to throw a thumbs up, share, like, and subscribe to help this old streamer survive, I appreciate all of it. I hope y'all have a blessed day. I'm out.